So next one is standalone Vault installation. So for installing the Vault, we require the operator CD. So, apart from the operator CD, Cyberark will provide the master CD also. So what is the difference between operator CD and master? CD is nothing. But in the master CD, recovery private key will be available. And in operator CD only two keys will be available, server key and recovery public key. So in the encryption hierarchy, if you see that file key is encrypted with safe key and safe key is encrypted with server key. So, whenever, if you want to start the Vault server, definitely we require this server key. So in case, if this server key is missing, then we can't start the Vault server. Okay. So in what scenarios we record the master CD means, so master CD are required for emergency. In case, if you want to organize a master user, or if you want to recover the Vault, or if you want to rekey the Vault, we require this master CD. Next one, installation package. So we require that, as even today they are still shipped on a CD or they're still sent just as the key file. I think if you have a SFE Axis, secure file extend access, then they will upload these keys to that SFE portal. So they will not ship this CD and all those things. Yeah, I know it's a very silly thing, but I just wanted to be sure of that, that's all. And regarding that license file, they will drop an email to your account's owner. So who will be taking care of this entire thing? Okay, so from account owner we can gather this license file. Right, sure, okay. Okay, so in real time, if you want to install a Vault server, we need to follow some of the prerequisites, like we need to uninstall this client for Microsoft Windows QS packet except the TCP IP4 and TCP IP6 in the network configuration. We need to remove all the other things. And we need to put IP address. DNS and preferred DNS is not required, but a gateway we need to put. And these settings also we need to implement. Then prerequisites for installing the Vault server is Microsoft Entity Framework. So we have installed version 11.2, right? So in 11.2 version, that Microsoft Entity Framework will be available in the server installation package, but if you are going to install 11.4, this Microsoft Entity Framework will not be available. You need to install this Microsoft Entity Framework initially in the Vault server. Then we need to run that setup of the Vault. Okay, like that. I mean, in some versions they have included and in some versions they haven't included this Microsoft Entity Framework. Okay, so in case, if you get any error like Microsoft Entity Framework 4.6 not found, then you can abort this installation. And first install the Entity Framework, and then we can start the Vault installation. Okay, so as I covered, right. Standalone installation and cluster node installation. Okay, so in case, if you want to install cluster node, you need to select this cluster node installation. But for installing cluster node, we have again some of the prerequisites. We require some shared storage, and the two nodes will be identical and connected via private network. So a few of the things are the prerequisites for installing cluster node. And also we required one virtual IP also for installing this cluster. So we have covered this part also, like we can go with the default location, destination location, safe location, and we need to browse to location of your license file operator CD. So this part we can skip and we can configure later stage also. Or if you have that remote control agent, IP, terminal, IP, we can configure and put one password. Master password, and then you restart. That's it. Yeah, so here, after initialization of the vault, we will get 6 default services. So total services will be reduced to 31 as a part of the hardening process, and in that 31 services, we have 6 services related to the vault. So this also, we have covered default users and default saves and configuration files, log file and license file. Vault hardening and security. So, always in case, if you are installing the vault in virtual environment, I mean on-premise environment, we need to install the vault server on a dedicated physical machine, as recommended by the Cyber Army. So, in case, if you are implementing Cyberark in cloud, either in Azure or AWS or GCP, so Cyberark will provide those images. So just we need to fire up our server using those images. That's it. Post that we need to register our vault. So that is a different process. So that steps will be available in the doc Cyberark.com. So in case, if you are implementing installation of the Cyberark in cloud environment, then we reach to Cyberark so that they will provide those images based on our cloud region. And we need to fire up those images. That's it. But in case, if you are installing Vault server in a on-premise environment, we need to install it on a dedicated physical machine. Okay. And here we have one more condition. So we need not to install any third-party software in the Vault server, even antivirus also. Okay. And it should not be a member of any enterprise domain. So this part will be common. The second and third steps will be common for both on-premise and cloud environments. Okay. So we should not install any third-party software, and it should not be a member of any enterprise domain. It means Vault server should be in the bulk group. It should not be joined to any domain. Okay, so again, this we have covered, and as a part of hardening process, all the ports will be blocked and only port number 1858 will be open. When we are holding it, or maybe hosting it on cloud, then by default we will put it under only one VPC, right? But if we are looking at having two VPCs to be communicated, then we just need to ensure that between those VPCs only port 1858 is open for the Vault communication. Is that how it is? Yep. So definitely we require two VPCs. So our production will be in one VPC and DR will be in the other VPC. Right, okay. So in that case we need to make sure, like in case if you are installing any of the component servers in the DR site in a different VPC, so that port communication will be allowed. Okay. So all the components will be communicated to the vault on the port 1858. So we need to request that cloud team to configure that network security groups or security groups inbound, outbound configuration rules by allowing port 1858. Okay, so you need to prepare one seat like ports, vault to component servers, component to vault, all those kinds of stuff. And you need to provide that seat to that cloud team so that they can configure the network security groups. Okay. Sure, Suman.